Hi, everyone. My name is Mel Robertson, and I'd like to welcome you to Happiness is Your Own Damn Fault. What we're talking about is how to drop the baggage, increase your frequency, and live a blissful life. Now, I decided to put this summit together because I want you to know that happiness is equally available to everyone, no matter the circumstances you've endured. So no matter what you've been through, you can choose happiness now. Happiness is your birthright. It is your natural state of being underneath all the baggage you've been dragging around with you for all of those years. So what I wanted to do was interview people who are truly happy and get them to share with you their secrets on how they let go of the past, stopped worrying about the future, and started living their bliss. And today I'm excited to welcome William Linville. And I chose him because he encourages you to fully embrace the divine love that you are by becoming one with your Creator. William Linville is a name used to physically recognize this presence of universal consciousness, of pristine clarity and unbounded love, as the presence that is presenting and fully integrated through this physical form that we recognize as William Linville. This consciousness we know as William is an instrument of the universe and holds the innate ability to view Akashic records, the halls of honor, and the life streams of all humanity and all kingdoms, and so much more, in an unfiltered purity of omnipotent love for all. He is here to assist you fully integrate your unique divine presence as you're moving into and creating within the new paradigms unfolding within your world and throughout the universe, seeing the difference you make in the importance you are and always have been, for you are Creator incarnate, creating the divine, omnipotent change that you've been seeking for, as well as of the amazing divine gifts that come from it. Welcome, William.
Well, hello, Miss Mel. How are you, sweetheart? This is such an honor, such a blast to finally get to sing and dance and play together and rock and roll, sweetheart. I do agree to have more fun than ever singing and dancing and flourishing, sweetheart.
Woohoo! It's such an honor to have you back here. I love singing and dancing with you on my shows. You're so fun to have.
Oh, it is such an honor and such a blast to get to sing, dance, flourish, and get to celebrate and open up the hearts of all these dear ones, and also open up the clarity, the consciousness, and singing and dancing and flourishing and watching all these benevolent dear ones start to take off, sweetheart.
Yes, and we are about to open things up. So why don't we jump right in, William, and I would love for you to share your journey of awakening to the fact that you are a divine essence, clear creator consciousness in a physical body, and the fact that we all are that as well.
Well, my journey started on a surgery table. When I came into the body, it was quite a fun journey, actually. It started on a surgery table. The body was over 425 pounds going in through a surgical procedure. When the body basically, well, literally, went flatline, and every system in the body shut down, and the dear one, I just call it the old Will, my angel and I call it that, because the dear brother stepped out on the surgery table, and I stepped in. The body went flatline. The one that you would know, we'll call it, for the sake of clarity, the presence, the soul of the old dear one, the old Will, for that matter, stepped out of the physical, and I had the great honor of assisting the dear one to make a full transition. And from there, oddly enough, when I stepped in, that was when the body started shutting down. It started shutting down, breaking down. Every facet of it, from the eyesight to the molecular structure to the cellular structure to the physical makeup as a whole, started shutting down, breaking down, and shutting down, to where the body was in extreme pain 24/7, to where the eyesight went, where the body was in a wheelchair for about 2.5 years. And then from the extreme pain to all the rest of the beautiful, priceless, interesting, colorful attributes, the body was given so many different, about 8+ death sentences. Well, there's nothing more we can do. You need to get your affairs in order, so forth and so forth. And then from there, I was sitting there and looking at everything for what it is. Okay, there's nothing that could be done, fair enough. So what are you going to do about it? Well, I didn't struggle, of course. I didn't battle, of course. Nothing you can do is nothing you can do, all is well. So, I don't know if I would say I accepted it, but I honored it. Because I wasn't going to go into this big, giant battle and blah, 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 and all these dramatic scenarios. So, I was like, all right, well, might as well enjoy what I got. So, as I watched my body, the actions, reactions of the body, all the interesting, colorful molecular makeups of the body, well, my body continued to shut down and shut down. But it was oddly enough, this beautiful sensation of, I guess many would call it peace. I call it a harmoniousness. It just kept arising and arising, more fluid, more beautiful, but kept arising and arising and arising, opening and opening and arising, amplifying and arising, growing, becoming stronger and stronger. But yet, the body, obviously was shutting down. So I was like, all right, well, it is what it is. I'm not saying any of this harmoniousness took away from the heightened sensory neurons and the heightened breakdown of the myelin sheath, so forth and so forth. Well, I, just enjoyed the journey, right? So here I am, watching the system break down, but oddly enough, wow, the intimate, infinite sensations, kept growing and growing. And one thing led to another until then the lungs, the heart, physical lungs and heart, they were the next ones to go. So, of course, the heart started having issues. So from there, I was like, all right, it is what it is. Until eventually all of it went angst. And then, poof, everything started rebuilding. Now, I found that really kind of beautiful and interesting. Because still, this sense, this knowingness, this harmoniousness, this lightness kept getting brighter and brighter, lighter and lighter and brighter. Still no battle. It is what it is. What are you going to do about it? Because, quite specifically, there was nothing you could do about it, not even scientifically. And I had the best of the best due to science. I had Thornton Hospital over in La Jolla, specialists, researchers, blah, blah, blah. But, oddly enough, not even experimental drugs could touch the pain, which I call sensations, no more, no less, because it's really all it is sensations. But, I had the great opportunity throughout all of this to see what it is. But then, whoosh, as everything started rebuilding, regenerating, that was when Sananda, Yeshua ben Joseph, the Magdalene, the Mary, the Kuan Yin, the Buddha, the Krishna, so forth, the Pleiadians, not this woo-woo stuff, but literally very physical stuff. Francis of Assisi's, on and on. Well, I'd be sitting on my front, I guess you'll call it front patio, looking at the star systems. I mean, what else were you going to do, right? Because everything you roll over in your wheelchair feels like spears going through your lower bodies. So, what are you going to do is sit there and admire the star systems at night, because you couldn't really sleep, because anything you put on your body, sheets or whatever, feels like a blanket of, so when putting coals all over you.
Ugh.
So, of course, I sat up. I just admired the star systems. Now, to me, once again, I wouldn't change a thing about it. Was it fun? Well, I can think of a lot more fun. But nevertheless, because I'm not really into torment. But, whatever works for you. But, here I am sitting there. And the body, bam, went into regenerating. But still, just like when I woke up from surgery, watching the most gorgeous sunset over Hillcrest and all these other things at Mercy Hospital on the 7th floor, which I'll never forget, the most gorgeous sunset. It was just like that as the body started to re-arise, regenerate, rebuild, because it came to pass that it was all the old emotional cellular structure memories and even the soul memories of the old will dying off. I can say as per I agreed to, but I don't give a lot of credibility to soul agreements and all that. And the reason I don't is it's another backdoor excuse, is what I'll call it, for myself, that is, of being controlled by the deity of another. Now, because there's no one pulling strings, okay? No one was sitting there, well, man, now it's time for the next torture. Get on the table. So that's why I say I don't give a heck of a lot of power or credibility to it, because a soul journey is a soul journey. That was accurate when there was a karmic paradigm and all this vows, constructs, agreements, blah, 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 were in place. But, this also has to do, if we can honor oneself for a second, the reverence of oneself for a second, you have a say-so too. Because there's no one pulling the puppet strings, okay? You're amazing of how much of a say-so you have. You see, this is the part I love, is all these benevolent say-sos that says, you know what, I'm stepping into a whole new paradigm, a whole new beginning, let's go. So lo and behold, it was all of the old archaic, as I call it, the old will memories, that the brother that had the package before me. The presence that time after time after time was wanting to step off the planet. Obviously, he was 425 pounds. I mean, obviously, he might have had a couple issues. So, all of his personable stuff, guilt, frustration, rage, anger, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff, even from every molecular structure, every cell, every subatom, atom, had to have somewhere to go, right? So it was leaving, which is really part of the beauty, because I was saying goodbye, 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 goodbye to all of the old structures that came with the physicality. Now, it's pretty darn amazing, really, because I was saying goodbye, 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 and hello to a whole new live stream as I picked up a body for the first time. But none of this, as far as I'm concerned, is dramatic, blah, blah, blah. It's more of a, what are we going to give credibility to? What do we really, as I was sitting there, looking to the whole universe, the star systems included, on and on and on. Well, when it all comes down to it, what really even deserves or even warrants giving your power away to? It's kind of an interesting one, isn't it? As I'm looking into the star systems, is it the flesh, the physicality, maybe the mental, maybe each particle of thought, which, is a light deity in itself? Which of, if any of it, really even for a millisecond, really warrants or deserves any power or credibility? So here I am, being presented all of the above. And with all these dear ones that are showing up around, it's not like we're sitting there and, ooh, ah, and, floating off on, kites or something. Well, we're really looking at everything for what it is. Is it the money that requires attention? Well, no, because at that point, what are you going to do with it? It's not going to make the pain go away. All right, so yeah, that was pretty much like, buy a new wheelchair. I mean, what does that matter, right? Well, buy new sunglasses when you can't see. I mean, what does that matter, right? So maybe the money didn't matter. Well, maybe that everyone will like me. Well, that doesn't really matter. I mean, who cares, right, at that point? So, well, maybe if I feel worthy. Well, what does that really matter right now? I can feel as worthy as I want, but it's not going to take away from the excruciating pain. Well, maybe if I have better costumes. Well, what does that really matter? Because you can't wear them. So, what really matters at that point? Well, maybe if I feel loved by others. Well, are they really going to want to change your diapers? Well, probably not, so. Yeah, that one kind of went out the window real quick. So you start questioning all this for, seriously. I mean, really for some, heart-wrenching seriously. For others, heart-opening seriously. Because it all goes to the same place, to heart-opening. What really matters? And throughout the whole journey, it was kind of odd. Here comes this beautiful gift called a handicap van. Here comes this other beautiful gift. A whole giant truckload of Christmas gifts. Out of the ethers, quite seriously. Into the physical, quite seriously. Here comes all these interesting checks for complimentary abundance. Quite interestingly, out of the ethers. But into the physical. Because, I really didn't care. It really didn't matter, right? Now, I was very overjoyed by it. It really lit up the day. But do you see where I'm going with this? I didn't give power to any of it. I was appreciative. Don't get me incorrect. It was my first Christmas tree ever. Wow, what a blast. But it wasn't who I was or who I am. It's for entertainment and enjoyment. So, night after night, I would sit there, looking into the star systems. The Pleiadians would show up, on and on and on. But once again, not this woo-woo Area 51 stuff. But these beautiful, benevolent presences that would show up and quantum leap after quantum leap. And the body, oddly enough, kept regenerating, oddly enough. I went back into surgery to have the pain pump took out. Oddly enough, wow. I also started being offered opportunities to volunteer at a hospital. I was even handed right in my lap a massage table. Vocational rehab wanted to give me, actually, sponsorship to any career I wanted. Now, they didn't quite agree with it because they wanted me to go into electrical engineering. But nope. I am fascinated by how these physical anatomies work because, it had its own life and own guidance, right? But it was astounding out of a dear one that couldn't remember their name, and I would say it about 20 times, not realizing they said it once, being that of myself. They wanted you to get into heightened engineering. That doesn't even add up. But it's odd when they saw right there in front of them a total rebuilding. Even the medical system was shocked. Not exactly happy, but shocked.
Yeah, right.
when I got out of a wheelchair, which was impossible because not like eating birds or anything. What is it, crows or whatever? I don't know why crows always get the fun of it, but we'll call it eating chickens. Well, no, everyone eats chicken. Okay, well, so many do, but nevertheless, we can call it miracles, blah, blah, blah. I call it normal because why would and what really deserves your power? So I'm making this very literal because it is very literal. I literally sat there. I literally had these ear ones show up all around me. I still do have them show up all around me. That hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is the number of them. Now, I say this because it's all true for you, too. All of it's true for you, too. I don't have a focal point. I never will. Why would I do that? Why would I do that to myself?
I love that you said that.
Why would you do it to yourself?
Exactly.
It's kind of like happiness is your own damn fault. It's letting it happen, right?
Yeah.
What's worth holding on to baggage? What baggage is really worth holding on to? I could have kept some of the old will baggage. Yep, I am upright and justified. Well, why? What does it really matter at that point? I could have sat there, yep, it was a great short journey merging into a body. Yep, been there, done that. But I was just beginning.
Yeah.
Now, just to answer the other question that I know many are having, that haven't physically been asked, Will, you knew this. No, I didn't. I had no idea. Many give me a lot of credit about that and credibility. Well, I don't deserve it because I was not a privy to knowing the whole picture when I picked up this physical. I had to do it blindly. Just like you, many do. And I wouldn't, once again, change a thing about that. Wouldn't it be a bummer if I knew what everything was going to look like when I picked up this body?
No
what a
fun.
bummer it would be. What a bummer it would be for you too. Because how would I be able to assist when I say jump right in? Well, there's a certain amount of courage involved. There would be no courage if you already knew what it was going to look like. That would just be go this way, go that way, go that way, then go this way. Well, this is about a dance with the whole universe, right?
Yeah.
And letting your big guns come in. That courage I love because it assists you to integrate permanently, not this hidey-flighty, hit-and-miss stuff. Yeah, I kind of love when I hear the word woo-woo because I look at the both, right? There's woo-woo and then there's whoa-whoa. Well, the whoa-whoa is called the density, right?
Yeah.
Woo-woo is called you. And that's the fun part, right?
Absolutely.
It's called openness. It's what I'll call normal, but the whoa-whoa means pull back on the reins. The mental level is getting afraid, right?
Yeah, exactly. Tighten up.
It's called
clench,
the density
resist.
part.
Yeah.
Exactly. But why would you clench for letting yourself be handed love?
Right. Why do you want to go to a single point and condense? No, thank you.
Exactly. To fight love.
Yeah.
Isn't it great? It's kind of a
It
head-scratcher,
is.
isn't it?
It is. And something that you mentioned a while back that I want to come back to that I think that we struggle with is we live in this paradigm where we think that there's someone out there that's going to save us and we're waiting for someone else to save us and someone else is pulling the strings and granting grace and granting miracles. And how can we help shift that paradigm to help people drop that and realize that they are the powerful creator? They are calling the shots. We are calling the shots. There is no one else.
Well, when you look at it for what it is, and I know I keep saying that, let's look at all the scenarios. The woes, the woe is nots, so forth and so forth. Right? even to victimization, vulnerabilities, on and on. What are you vulnerable to? Because so many fight vulnerability, and they get so confused by it. The biggest conflict is becoming vulnerable to humanity. You're not becoming vulnerable to humanity. You're becoming vulnerable to yourself and the whole universe entirely. It's not about who's going to be a better boy and better girl. Because remember, only good boys and good girls get things.
Yeah.
That's humanity's thing. That's a very pristine humanity thing called judgment. Because if you follow it all the way back to its core, well, many have created the good mom, good dad, good boy, good girl, and made it all about how the universe works too. No, that's a humanity trait. It just is a primal humanity trait. Now, if you go beyond that core, as you follow way back to the origination, it's putting another above yourself. Now, like mom and dad, just like Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's all this judgment that was primordially created that says, am I good? Am I not good? Am I worthy? Not worthy? Am I ever going to be good? Okay, I got to make sure I do this, do that, do that. Well, what about if you're neither one? You just are. Is there ever been a particle of even consciousness that's been good or bad before it's been told or forced, manipulated into a certain form? Now, when you take yourself right back to that pure piece of particle of consciousness, it's totally neutral until it's given a crustacean to have a form to go a certain direction. No one's pulling the shot on it. The head level deems it to be a certain way. Now, from here, let's take a breath. And let's bring forth that pure particle of consciousness. Let's bring forth your higher levels. I'll just call it your higher levels technically, literally, specifically. Hence is the word higher, which isn't way over there, a little bit further than Uranus. I'm just teasing. Venus and otherwise. Because technically your Uranus is south. So above you, right? No one above you. It's a faster vibratory level of consciousness and frequencies that is you. That you're welcoming in, you're welcoming forth at a faster velocity of vibratory levels of consciousness and frequencies. That vibrate so much faster than your body's magnetic level of frequencies and megahertz. You're welcoming those facets forth, and as you feel this for a moment, can you feel the particles within your body speeding up right now? The vibratory levels and frequencies of consciousness as you welcome forth your higher levels, we can call it your faster levels. Okay? The frequencies of light, the frequencies of love. Because the frequencies of love, lightness, your light bodies as well, of course they're a lot lighter, faster in your physical plane. Now, as we go into the cosmic cloud, as work on and on and on, which in turn, of course, vibrate faster and faster. Well, let's feel that right through your body principle. Let's even feel it right through your heart chakra vortex. The heart is nothing more, nothing less than the neutral state of all the chakra level vortexes. It's the center chakra level vortex that feeds the rest of them. So let's bring it right there to let it speed up faster and faster as we welcome forth the rest of you. Speeding up, faster, speeding up. Hyperdrivedly speeding up. Let's take a breath. Let the rest of you start to speed up, come in. And how's the fast faster you feel. That literally is plowing through all the density all around you. That's parting all the density around you. That's collapsing all the magnetic density around you and making room for you. That is also removing all the density, all the clutter, all the strings being pulled of all this stuff that's telling you who you are, what you can have, what you can't have, what you got to do, not do. We'll just call it all the control dynamics. Maybe a bit of control dynamics of everything you've ever been told in a body on a planet, everything you've been taught in a body on a planet, all the shoulds in a body on a planet, all the perceivable judgments in a body on a planet that have been handed to you, forced upon you as well. That, done deal, done deal, done deal, done deal, done deal. Let's take a breath. Let's even let ourselves breathe in those beautiful, benevolent particles of consciousness here. The particles of you. Let's not let it be a job. Because you're not a job. You've never been a job. You've been taught and told you're a job, but nevertheless. You can even go down to the Christianity, blah, 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 religions, and read right there, do this in remembrance of me. Well, who's the me? It's you. So, let's really take it literal. Do this in remembrance of you. So let's do it in remembrance of you. Remembering who you are. Just, if you want to take it further, even Yeshua kept saying everywhere, I can do this and so can you. So let's do it. It was always about you as a reminder. So now that we were reminded, now that we remember, let's speed it up.
Right. And then even the least among you will do greater things than I have done, right?
I'm telling you, I mean, Felix the cat, come on. You know, look at Felix in his little bag of tricks. I bet there's some runes or something in there. What do you think? And now,
absolutely.
Tarot cards or something? I mean, there's got to be something in there, right? Gypsum cream? I mean, maybe real cream, because obviously you look at his hair is kind of slick. Now, you know, and you got to honor it. I mean, you could take all these sayings that have been there for reminders, skipping all the emotional traits, right? You can even look globally, the Da Vinci codes, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff's coming out, even with the mass media, mass collective. Many of your brothers having no idea what it is except for another movie. There's reminders everywhere. But now let's take the reminders and look at them for what they are. Let's let our heart levels open up and letting the beautiful benevolence arise. Let's let it be your fault that you're remembering. Matter of fact, let's honor that you're the cause of remembering. No longer the effect. You're the original primal cause that lets there become an effect. So let's be the cause that gets to change the effect. Let's not give our power away to an outside deity any longer. Doesn't matter if it's Ganesh, Karanesh, it doesn't matter who it is or what it is. Let's just right there feel that beautiful, faster self arising right to your heart level. Because even when you question it, very literally question it, who's been keeping that heart beating anyways? It's definitely not the bananas you eat. It's definitely not tofu. It's definitely not lumpia. It's not filet mignon. I'm with you on that one. I wish I could say it's Starbucks coffee, but unfortunately it's not. But whom is even keeping that heart beating? It's not the body, because someone has to keep the body working. Someone, something has to feed that body the beautiful live consciousness that keeps it running, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just one boost, but a constant boost. It's definitely not at your brother, because you look around your arms, your legs, your feet, your wrists, your ankles. There's no strings there. So, I bind up, out, and away all vows, conscious agreements, control, manipulation, overwhelming burdens, and overwhelming and deep-seated fear. Up, out, and away from all these dear ones, mind, body, and aura now, from all four levels, all dimensions, every cellular body, all memory of it now. So bind up, out, and away all the old, archaic perceptions, all the old, archaic baggage and debris, the consequence, the record, affected, and the emotions, and the underlying states of emotions of it. I bind it to the sun to be repolarized from all four levels, all dimensions, every cellular body, all memory of it now. And up, out, and away from the DNA, the RNA, the physical makeup, and I bind up, out, and away all these strings, all these crosses, and all these buildups, and all these swords. I bind it all to the sun to be repolarized for the good of all humanity, never to return. And I command their light bodies, their creator consciousness, and also their divine presence in resonance down in and through. Their Akashic record realms down in and through. Their body principles now. For their highest best good and for the highest best good of all concerned. And so it is. Now, let's just let our body principles take a breath and breathing you in. Not breathing you in like you're going into labor or anything. Let's just breathe it because you're going into labor when you start taking in all the debris, all right? Talking about some serious labor pains, right? I think my water broke. No, actually, welcoming you in. Let's take a breath to see what it tastes like, feels like. Let's just see flat out what it's like. The absence of blockages. The absence of density. The absence of unhappiness. The absence of baggage. Even Louis Vuittons. I'm sorry. We got to let those go too. Okay? I know they go with your eyes, but nevertheless, out of there.
Okay, for me, it's my Mountain Smith bag. Okay, I don't carry a Louis Vuitton.
Those two, they're out of there, baby. Even the kind that roll. I mean, sorry. But what are we going to put them anyways? Because, your conscience doesn't fit in it. Isn't it great? No stripes, no plaids. I'm sorry, but how's it feel now?
It's pure. It's blissful. Eternal.
Now I wonder, sweetie, what the rest of our exponential world's going to start looking like. Now that it does not own, control, dominate, and have the power to dictate and dominate what you do, who you are, and where you go. Isn't it great?
It is. Well, I think this would be a...
Oh, yes, sweetheart?
I was going to say, I think this would be a really good time because I like to talk to all my experts on this summit and ask them what living a bliss-filled life looks like for you today and what that means for you so that our audience can start to understand what living a bliss-filled life really means and what that is. Because I think a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to live a bliss-filled life and there's no challenges, there's no nothing. It's just total bliss and happiness all the time. So I'd love to talk about what living a bliss-filled life looks like for you and how you got there.
Okay, well, let's take all this stuff about never having challenges. Okay? Let's take a breath. Okay? And let's chalk that off as nonsense. Okay, can we all agree to that? You're going to have challenges. I promise you, you have a body. I'm sorry, I don't mean to burst anyone's bubbles or urinate on your parade, but you're going to have challenges. But the bliss comes from honoring it's not your challenge, honoring that you'll never get wrapped up into it again. There's going to be fecal matter thrown at you. The bliss is that you don't got to catch it.
Yes, Absolutely.
The bliss is that it's never going to hit you. The bliss is that you don't got to have a sword and a shield to carry it, to block it. The bliss is that it's not even true fecal matter that is even about you. The bliss is that there's no big giant egoic monster you got to feed to defend yourself. The bliss is, what does it matter what another dear one thinks? The bliss is it really even your challenge? So, Will, this is going on, that's going on, that's going on, that's going on, this is going on, that's going on. My mother's thinking this, she doesn't like me. All right. Well, is it true that when she had you, she wasn't happy that you were a female rather than a male? Well, yeah. Well, whose issue is it? Is it true she was regretful, resentful that she was impregnated? Yes. Well, sweetheart, was it your fault that she had too many cosmopolitans laid down in the back of the 57 Chevy and got impregnated? Well, no. So what does that have to do with you, sweetheart? Well, nothing. So, maybe it's not really your fault, right?
Right.
Well, no one at work likes me. Well, sweetheart, you just saved about $758 not sending out Hallmark cards.
Seriously.
So I'm thinking you're doing pretty good. Now, so, wow. Is it really your job to be liked by your coworkers?
Nope.
Will, no one understands me. Well, that makes it pretty good. Have you practiced sign language? Now, is it really about you, sweetheart? Isn't it great to not have to put on a show? Every day you go to the office to attempt to fit into something that, sweetheart, you don't want to fit into anyways. And you've been saying how uncomfortable it is. Matter of fact, what a struggle it's been when you do fit in. Wow. Great job. Well, Will, you know what? I just can't seem to get through to these dear ones. Great. Well, dear brother, have you ever contemplated that they're going as quick as they can and you definitely scare them? Well, yeah, I guess so. Well, is that okay? That your presence pushes them for everything it's worth and more, and it scares them. Because they know you see through all of the shenanigans going on. You see through their egoic structures, you see this, you see that, you see that, you see this. Is that okay? That you do not pretend not to know what you know? Well, it's uncomfortable. Well, you're right. But wow, isn't it great that you're not going to lay down and have a snuggle party? Now, it's kind of amazing, but, it's kind of odd how you keep getting promotions and how they insist on being followers, not guides, and leaders like you are. Isn't it amazing? But can't deny the paycheck. Wow, it's astounding, isn't it? Well, Will, my siblings, wow, they just continue to treat me like an outcast. Well, of course we are. You're the white sheep of the family. You didn't come in to play Leave It to Beaver and super codependency Partridge Family stuff and all this fun stuff. Remember, you came in to wake them up and shake them up. But you know what? Let's be honest about this. Do you really want to go to the bistro and have a cup of coffee with them? Well, no. What's the big deal? Look at all these other dear ones that cannot wait to do lunch with you. Let's really keep this in our heart in perspective for a minute. At that point, wow, It is what it is. But yet, wow, isn't it a riot? How you're taking it right out of the mental, emotional attribute, looking at it through the eyes of and as your greater consciousness for what it is. Now, let's take the day-to-day stuff. Well, my garbage man tipped over my garbage, blah, blah, blah. Great. Isn't it great to go out there, pick it all up, and make a phone call? What does it matter? Well, my car just got demolished. Great. Well, last week you were talking about getting a new car. Well, isn't it great how that was just expedited? And to boot, your insurance is going to kick in. You basically get a free car. Well, isn't that amazing? And wow, isn't it just astounding how all of that comes to light and comes to life? Now, we can call all of these challenges. Well, this your brother wants that, wants this, and wants this. Great. Who made you the Alpha and the Omega and responsible for their wants? It's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Right.
What am I not like me? Great. You just save another $50 on Hallmark cards and good items. Now, at the same time, you can try to fulfill their wants, but there's not going to be an end, and their wants are only going to change and grow, and there's still not going to be enough because it's not your job. So, well, my finances are going down, and blah, blah, well, okay. We can call that a challenge, or we can look at it right in the eyes and go direct with it. How much, I'm going to call it once again courage, are we going to have to let ourselves become accessible? I'll use myself for an example. When I was done with, we'll call it massage school, right? I went down to the police department due to regulations, blah, 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 for all these paperwork license things, right? Mm-hmm. And they said, well, you've got to work on a police officer. Great. I'm watching all these there one shy away. I'm jumping up and down. Great. It's a body, man. I don't really see the issue. This body happens to have a handgun. All right. Worst case is I leave there very holy with a lot of flesh wounds. Now, so I do it. Great. Get it all to check off. Great. And even the police officer wanted a business card. It was quite humorous. And then I'm watching all these other therapists start to go into massage therapy. And then after, on the average, about 2.5 months, they throw in the towel. And I said, well, Will, how do you do it? Your phone's ringing off the hook. Even when we were sitting there at Starbucks connecting, how do you do it, man? Your phone's ringing off the hook, blah, blah, blah. Well, the answer was this. I'm not afraid. And I can call that courage. I am who I am, right? I'm not afraid of physicality. I'm not afraid of egos. Aren't we all just right there? Hey, man, more the merrier, right? When I got a phone call, well, we would love for you to do an event in Vegas. I was like, all right. I have no idea what an event is, but I'm going to show up. We'd love for you to speak for a couple hours. Great. What are we going to talk about? Well, I don't know, Oreos? But nevertheless, my job was to sit down in the chair, put on a microphone. And sure enough, there was my angel in the front row who was presenting for 3 years prior. Well, I can call that taking courage or not holding back, right? I call it exposure. But how much are we willing to let our presence be known? How blessed I am, my angel was sitting there who was showing up for 3 years prior. Because I did show up, right? Now, for all of us, my faster levels in charge, which technically my higher levels, but I'm going to call it faster for the sake of clarity here. Well, why would I question anything, right? In a very physical, practical, we'll call it analytical, emotional, whatever, however, level, what's there to hold back here? What? Fear can be fear, blah, 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 but that's just basically, more literally based in sequences of events based in a linear time continuum, based in what-ifs. Isn't it amazing, sweetheart?
Mm.
But there's just as many what-ifs nots as there are what-ifs. If you want abundance to flow, and I mean physical abundance, great, where are we showing up now? Great. How much of more of myself can I let be exposed, really? How much more can I let be known, exposed, shown, with zero holding back? With zero reluctancy. Isn't that great? No one's pulling the puppet strings. It's just what's there to contemplate, right?
So how do you let go of that reluctancy if you're feeling it?
You honor it. All right. So I might feel a little bit tentative. You might even feel a huge angst, right? And let's honor it. All right. My body feels this way. Just like when the body was shutting down, in pain, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The body has all these interesting senses. Sensory neurons, pain, whatever fancy word we want to give it. All right. My body feels this reluctancy. Great. But let's stop right here. It's the body. Hands down. The body. The mind is wanting to take command, take control over what things are going to be like, look like. And the mind doesn't know what it look like and be like. Okay. Well, let's honor together. It's the mind. So now we have the mind, we have the body. That obviously are stepping into, very specifically, the unknown, uncharted territories. New, different. Great. So now that we've honored it, acknowledged it, let's take a breath. Fair enough. But I'm going anyways. Now, this is where we start to watch, quite physically watch, that is, all the pieces fall into place for you. See, this is where it becomes a blast. When I say I'm going, period, this isn't about stubbornness. It's not about fighting the flow. It's actually not being held out of it. Okay? Now, it's also not about not being controlled anymore. We're stepping right into you over time. But this is also where, wow, nothing can hold you back here. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Reluctancy, none of this would be happening around you if it wasn't going to complement. Let's skip this whole thing. There's something to learn from it. Okay? Let's jump right into, wow, there it is. I'll learn what I learn, if anything. But let's not make that our job. Let's not make it our priority. Let's make our number one priority, if anything, to show up. And then letting all the gifts unveil themselves.
The number one priority to show up. I love that you said that.
And all the gifts are going to avail themselves just from showing up.
I think it's so key that you said that, because we spend our whole lives running around trying to distract and not be present with anything. So It's just that simple key of showing up for yourself, making the effort to show up, and then letting yourself be. It's so powerful.
Oh, absolutely. It becomes a universal dance from there. Because that's where, wow, it's dancing, 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 flourishing and dancing continually. Isn't that fun?
It is. It is so fun. And when we are just about out of time, I know that you have an amazing free gift that you wanted to talk about that you're sharing with all our audience. Do you want to take a minute to talk about that?
Yes. I took some free time not too long ago, and I made these amazing little attributes. It's kind of like Beano, but not really. It gets flatus out of your system. Now, it's very subtle. It doesn't give you a tummy ache, just for the record. It flushes right through the intestinal tract. It gets your recti-pili muscles relaxed. And it comes out so smooth, you can always point to your neighbor and say, it was them, because it doesn't leave any trail of smoke. So we're doing a special. It makes it kind of pinkish, not green. It's amazing how it flows. Since we're playing with fluidity, for that matter. And doesn't take any finger pulling. It just flows.
But the finger pulling's fun.
Well, it is. It really is. But, you're out to dinner, having a beautiful romantic date night, and then you're looking at the neighbor table and say, yeah, it was Billy Bob. And, you just kind of want to dance with it, right? Rather than sitting there, there's a beautiful cloud above you from your own making. These little things. Okay, we have, since, obviously that one's not going to go very far as a free gift, although I'm gift from my heart. Okay, now, a 2-hour video digital download. The first one, the topic is Transition of Fears into Fruition and Lightness, and the second one is how to let yourself be and become the most incredible dear one that you are, and then starting to watch how all of the outside world will begin to support you with these. And then the second gift is a 2-hour audio digital download, and the topic is integrating your higher levels into your lower levels. And this has been created and designed to open up your exponential world, a constant expansiveness of fruition, fluidity, openness, expressiveness, and watching how much larger, expansiveness, vibrant you become as you're dancing, flourishing, and dancing overtime hyperdrive, but also watching how the exponential world keeps flourishing and flourishing and becomes such a priceless, gorgeous silhouette over time to complement the whole within your whole life as a whole. And in the transition of fears, it's letting them all letting them all appear, present right in front of you, to let them collapse and losing all of their gusto, and, of course, the cause, direct, and effect of them. As, for one, we bind them out, but for two, they lose all of their say-so over you. Yeah. And you get to come to terms with all the say-so they have had for your own specific, unique, finite clarity, which is important for yourself. And then seeing, wow, all the stuff you weren't cognitively aware of. And then also the effect they've had even within your physicality as a whole. And then whoosh, be gone, be gone, be gone. And how free and vibrant you feel that you are, and continually becoming without all of your old friends. Because fear isn't a bad thing. It's just been a protective thing. And then having a blast with all the above.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I always like to give my experts on my interviews an opportunity to leave our guests with a parting word of wisdom. Do you have anything you'd like to share?
Absolutely. As you welcome in your higher levels, your faster levels, your manifest levels, your creator levels, and as you're disengaging with the exponential world, letting it be what it is, letting it open and flourish all around you, Watch how vibrant, pristine, imminently your health and vitality becomes within your physicality. Your clarity becomes within your mental console levels and your physical form. Watch how your world begins to metamorphosize, transform, to complement you, to radiantly welcome in your divine realms, but also the beloved of your heart and the beloved that you are, but also throughout your heart. Watch how also the transitions that you're going through begin to expedite, speed up, and where your heart level opens up more than ever, but also your life stream opens up more than ever, to let your life stream and your heart begin to merge and marry as you begin to open up to the rest of you and the benevolence and the beloved that you are, and feeling the belovedness that you are, that begins to open up to all that is, and you honoring and letting yourself be honored as it happens so beautifully, mesmerizingly, so beautifully simply, to let yourself open and open, expand upon and open with great ease, great simplicity, but also great love. For you are the beloved incarnate. Now it's time to be loved, and enjoy the love that you are.
Yes, thank you for that expansion. So remember, everyone, happiness is an inside job, and it is available to everyone. We are living in a time now where we can choose to drop whatever baggage we've been carrying around. We can drop the old stories. It starts with just a choice. You are powerful beyond measure, and all you need to do is tap into the divine power that created you and follow the guidance you were given. You were born to be happy, experience joy, and live an abundant, blissed-out, spacious life. I want to hear what you thought about this conversation. So hit reply and tell me what you think, and share your thoughts with me. William, it has been such a pleasure to have you here with me again. It's always such a fun time interviewing you and working with you, so thank you so much for being here.
Oh, and thank you. It's been such an honor and such a blast. We sure love you so dearly, and we'll play together soon.
We absolutely will.
Okay, and we'll talk to you soon, sweetheart. We love you.
Love you too.
Bye.